Hello, hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Now I look really short, so I got to adjust my light.
You're good. I understand.
Well, I've already introduced you, but can you please go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Haley Poe, and I am currently serving as Miss Pennsylvania Earth. And I'm so excited to compete at Miss Earth USA in just a few short weeks. I'm currently a pre-medical student. I'm pre-accepted to medical school. I'm very interested in science. My current binge right now is The Big Bang Theory. So if you've ever watched it, you know. And I'm very excited to be going live with you today. And fun fact, it is actually my 22nd birthday today. So I'm excited to be celebrating with you. So thank you for having me.
Oh, I feel so special. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Okay, now I need everyone in the comments to please go drop happy birthday to Miss Haley.
You guys are so sweet. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so what was maybe the biggest thing that you've learned so far in your 20s?
In my 20s, to believe in myself, because I think any obstacle and any challenge that comes your way, you absolutely have what it takes to handle it. And I think it's so common as young women in our 20s to feel that imposter syndrome. And that's something that I struggled with a lot when I was younger, and overcoming that has made a big difference for me.
I love that. Now, kind of onto the pageant side of things, what's something that you have really learned through your pageant journey?
Yes, to believe in myself. So I have a fun little story. I competed for the first time when I was 16. My mom is a former, and she coached me for Miss Pennsylvania Teen USA. And I placed third runner-up, and I had this little glass award that they give you. And I was backstage packing up my stuff, and she was there with me. And I sat it on the floor, and I was putting my stuff away, and I was a little down. And she asked me what was going on, and I said that I failed. And she was like, no, you did not. You grew so much. Imagine yourself 6 months ago. The difference is crazy. And I really learned that personal growth is more important than actual tangible achievements. While third runner-up was an excellent achievement, and I'm very proud of it, that growth means so much more.
I love that. So you started competing at age 16.
I did.
What really, I mean, obviously your mom was a former
Yes.
title. Is that what encouraged you to jump into pageantry?
A little bit. So we would watch the Miss USA pageant every single year. And one year we were watching Miss Teen USA, and I was sitting next to her, and I said, you know what, I could do that. And she was like, really? You could do that? And I love a challenge. So we got ready and we started preparing. And at the time I was dealing with some insecurity, as most of us do in our teenage years. And it really helped me come out of that. And I had a wonderful experience. And I really fell in love with the pageant industry. And it's my favorite hobby today.
As is mine. So when you think about, you've gone through the Miss USA system, what encouraged you to compete in the Miss Earth USA system?
It is a system I had looked at for a couple of years, and as time went by, I really felt like my values aligned with the Miss Earth USA system, and I'm so glad that I made the switch, because over the past 6 months, I have really fallen in love with the organization. They have been so kind and so supportive, and I've loved the way that they've interacted with us as delegates, and it's really set the tone for the way that we treat each other too, because we haven't even met in person, and we're already sending each other such kind messages, and I just know it's going to be an amazing sisterhood.
Oh, so cool. So you talk about how it kind of aligns with who you are.
Yes.
And for your values. Tell me a little bit about why it is that you align with it.
Yes. I am a pre-medical student, and I plan to become a doctor, so our health and the health of our planet is very important to me. And I really resonated with the Miss Earth USA platform, and I love the opportunity to advocate for the environment and also other things that I'm passionate about. So I've really had a great time interacting with the system, and I'm excited to represent all of those things going into nationals too. So
tell me a little bit about microplastics and your project around them. I know about this much, which is ironic because that's about the size of them, but tell me about microplastics.
So Microplastics are exactly what they sound like. They're little tiny, tiny pieces of plastic. So anytime plastic ends up in our environment, it gets broken down into microplastics, and those microplastics then end up in our water, in our soil, which then affects our plants and our fungal environment. They get in our air. They're particularly in our water. If you drink out of plastic water bottles, they are full of microplastics because, of course, in shipping, those bottles are heated and cooled, and it releases a lot of microplastics, and then you consume those. And they've been linked to cancer, endocrine disorders, and a number of different health conditions that we're still trying to study. And at this point, the situation has become so dire that there is no control group for studying microplastics. So I could test your blood, I could test your saliva, I could test the water coming from your faucet, and no matter where I look, I'm going to find microplastics. So it's a huge issue. And with my project, what I really aim to do is spread awareness for microplastics so that we can all be more conscious of our plastic consumption and how we deal with plastic, because you should always recycle plastic. It should always be reused. It should never go into a landfill, because then it's in our water and it's in our soil and it affects our environment and our health.
I guess I knew about that much, but holy good grief. So even if it's coming through our faucet, it microplastics in it?
Yes, I'm actually so excited. I'll be filming a tutorial soon because a new study just came out. You can boil your tap water. So if you put it in a container and you boil it, I think it's for about 10 minutes, it'll release the microplastics. And then you can put the water into a glass container and put it in your fridge and cool it. And then it's much safer to drink that way because you've removed some of the microplastics.
So you can't put it through like one of those Brita things, or like the little Brita thing that goes on your tap. It still manages to go bloop through that?
It'll do a little bit, but not quite as much as chemically removing the microplastics because they are so tiny. Yes, we also have more microplastics in our oceans right now than stars in our galaxy. It's really bad. So I'm also advocating for legislative change, and that's something I'll be sharing coming up soon. But there are a lot of changes that need to happen. And there's a lot that we can do on the individual level, but also if you think about it, almost everything you buy comes wrapped in some form of plastic. So there needs to be a change where corporations are able to purchase packaging at a lower price that's made of glass, that's made of paper, that is sustainable and healthy. And then that way, as consumers, we're a little bit safer as well.
It's so interesting because I yesterday saw an article about I think it was a Japanese organization that created the first plastic film that breaks down within like, I think it's 48 hours of exposure to just pure salt.
Cool.
And then because it's made of, I think, algae.
Oh, that's incredible.
I tried to learn as much as I could before I came and talked to you about it because I was like, she'll know. But obviously my comprehension about microplastics and plastics in general is very minor compared to yours.
I think you're doing amazing.
It's so interesting because once I started interviewing all of the Miss Earth USA queens, it really did make me start thinking more about all my, daily life products. And it truly makes me so angry now when I go shopping and I purchase something that comes in plastic, or that I actually don't have access to recycling in my community. We're a small enough community that if I want to recycle, I have to drive 20 minutes away, which I know is not a terrible drive, but I have to take my massive piles of recycling and hand sort them at our trash center. And so since interviewing all you Earth USA queens, I'm like, oh my good grief, I need to do so much better.
Yeah, it can be frustrating, but I do think the biggest thing is having the environment on your mind when you're shopping, when you're throwing away things, because just those little changes every day can make such a big difference in the long term. So as long as you're thinking about it and you're trying to make those active changes, I think you're doing really good. And the thing too is when you have to drive that far to recycle, you're also increasing your carbon footprint by driving. So it can be upsetting. I understand.
I'm like, okay, this is not exactly doing what I want. It's fine. I've been pushing to get recycling in our community. it's slow. But nonetheless, I'm trying.
Proud of you.
I'm not quite an Earth USA queen, but I'm getting there. So as you've kind of worked on this project, something that really popped into my head is the beauty industry. And obviously the beauty industry is very interconnected with pageant industry. And so many of our beauty products come in plastic, or the facial, I don't know if they still do this, but a lot of the facial cleansers used to have like the plastic beads in them as like the microdermabrasion, scratch your face up, get the junk off of it kind of thing. Yeah. How does that play into what you're doing as Miss Pennsylvania Earth USA, with knowing that a lot of what we use to get ready is so plastic based?
Fortunately, there are so many brands that do care about sustainability. You just have to find them. So there are a lot of brands that are doing reusable packaging that you can send in or have refilled. There are refills that you can buy that come in sustainable packaging. So if you do have a plastic item, you can refill it and then use it again. And I think that's amazing, especially with lipsticks. I've seen that done, and contour-like products. So it's one of those things where you just have to do your research, and it's there if you're looking for it.
I want to find a mascara that comes in a good either recyclable or reusable packaging, because those little ones, like the things that actually go through your eyelashes, I want to know how you can make them in a eco-friendly fashion, because I feel like you need them to be those hard plastic things to get through your lashes.
I've seen a lot of success with plant-based materials, so I would like to see people using that more. But I have yet to find a mascara that fit that description, unfortunately. I'm still doing my research. I haven't found success yet. If anybody in the comments has an idea, please let me know, because I have been looking.
I will pay attention as well. So knowing that you started competing at the age of 16, and now you're 22, happy birthday.
Thank you.
What has motivated you to just keep going?
The personal growth. Honestly, I think people really forget what it does for women, because if you have a daughter who's competed in pageantry and you've watched them go from pre-pageant to after pageant one, it feels like a different person, because the confidence growth is there and the interview skills are there, the professionalism is there, and it makes such a big difference for women. And I know for me, I have a very unique story, because I was scouted to walk at New York Fashion Week after competing in pageantry. And when I came home, the local news asked to interview me, and I told them all about my passion for healthcare and what pageantry had done for me. And they asked me what my dream medical school was, and I told them it was the Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine, which is also the #1 medical school in the country, by the way. And they actually saw my article, which made the front page of the newspaper here, and they gave me a call that morning and asked me to come in for a tour. And I was very fortunate to be accepted to their early acceptance program at 19 years old. So I have had the privilege of going through my undergraduate degree, not having to worry about the MCAT or whether I'm going to get into medical school. I just get to go straight into it. And pageantry had a huge hand in my pipeline into medicine. So there are so many opportunities in pageantry that will come to you that you can't even imagine right now. So I would always encourage anyone to do their first pageant, because you never know what's going to happen. And for me, it's important to share that story, because I think young women need to know what a difference this can make in their lives.
At 19, you got accepted to medical school.
I did. Yes, ma'am.
Holy buckets! That's impressive.
Thank you. I'm very grateful. It's been a wonderful experience.
That is so cool. And I think that, again, like you were saying, goes to show the incredible impact that pageantry has on the lives of those that participate in it. And, kind of in that same vein, how do you combat the idea or the questions that you get about, well, why is pageantry still relevant? Or, ew, why do pageants still exist? Because I know I go to war about it. But how do you kind of combat that? Or, do you just tell them your story of, hey, I got into medical school because of it?
Yeah, the data is there, right? So it's so easy to point to me at 16 and me at 22 and show you the difference and say, look, I got into medical school. This has really, truly changed my life. And I have the opportunity to help other young women change their lives too. And it's that opportunity for advocacy, because the thing is, I wouldn't have gotten into medical school if I had walked into that interview and I just said, oh yeah, I walked at New York Fashion Week and it was cool. And it was. But it's important that whenever someone hands you a microphone, you're ready to talk about something impactful. So every time you get that opportunity, make sure you use it to make a difference in the world, because that energy comes back to you.
That is so cool. I need that like on a t-shirt or like a throw pillar or something.
I'll work
I don't
on
know, but
it.
we need that on t-shirts. So now kind of looking at your pageantry journey and knowing that you started as a teen and now you're a miss, what kind of transition did you have to make mentally and maybe in your walking patterns physically to kind of make you feel miss?
Absolutely. I think if you are transitioning from being a teen contestant to being a Miss contestant right now, I highly recommend putting in the hours practicing in your swimsuit, because it's not just the walk, it's getting used to it. And in pageantry, we're talking about things that would terrify the average person. You want to talk about putting on 6-inch heels and a bikini and getting on a stage and letting people score you on a numerical scale in front of thousands of people in an audience. That's crazy. So you want to really put in the time and get used to it and practice really hard. And I think that makes the biggest difference, because the confidence that shows through on stage is really important.
It's so true. And you know, I think it's so funny. I wear heels to work. I don't know about you, but I wear heels to work. I wore them to classes in college, and people would give me such sideways looks. And in my mind, it was just training.
I agree. I totally agree. Unfortunately, I'm in the lab all the time, and heels are not safe footwear in the lab, so I have to wear sneakers a lot. But I always see the marketing and business majors going by in their little Elle Woods outfits, and I think they're so cute. And I really hope they don't think I'm giving them side eye because I'm just admiring the fit, you know?
I love that. Maybe at some point you can walk outside and be like, just by the way, just I love your heels. Okay,
Right,
thanks.
right. Yes.
So you're a pre-medical student, which
Yes.
is amazing. You are competing in what, 3 weeks for the title of Miss
Yes.
Earth USA. What have you done to really keep yourself grounded and keep yourself kind of mentally on track as you come down to the wire?
I am very focused, and I keep a calendar that has everything I have to do on it in detail with to-do lists, and that's how I keep track of everything. It's color coded. I'm very meticulous about it. It brings me great joy, and it has really helped a lot in this process. And for me, I always feel like being in the lab is a break from doing pageant things, and doing pageant things is a break from being in the lab. So that has really helped with burnout for me, just having that mentality of, oh, I get to go be in the lab now, or oh, today I'm doing a pageant experience, and it's so much fun that way.
That is a very good way to look at it. It's definitely a balance. And in that same vein, how do you balance being a pre-med student and Miss Pennsylvania Earth USA?
They work together pretty well. So whenever I'm competing in pageantry, I get to talk about the work that I've done in school. I've been a cancer research lab assistant for the past year, and that's been really interesting for me, and I love getting to share those experiences. And then with pageantry, I like bringing that into school, because the professionalism and the skills are so helpful when it comes to any presentation that you're ever going to give. And honestly, pageantry toughens you up so much in terms of nerves that there is no exam that is ever going to make me anxious at this point, because I've competed.
That's a really good point, actually.
Yeah,
Definitely a good way to wipe out the nerves.
for sure.
And kind of wiping out the nerves and working with coaches, you know, you had the luck of or having your mom be your
Yeah.
coach from the start. When you look at your fellow pageant competitors and or somebody that maybe is thinking about jumping into pageantry, what kind of advice do you have for them in terms of maybe getting a coach, or hey, just wing it the first time and see what happens? You know, what advice do you have for them?
Oh man. There's so much that you learn in 5 years. It's hard to boil it down, but I do recommend having a coach, or if you are lucky enough to have a mom that is a former, or you know someone who's in pageantry, just sit down with them for an hour and gain all of the knowledge that you can, because at the end of the day, it's about your growth. So focusing on that is important. And I would definitely have a coach, have a team behind you, because that really helps going into a competition for the first time, to know that you're not alone.
And when you look at resources like Beauty Queens Galore, what do you wish you saw more of from either us or other resources to help current and potential competitors?
So, fun fact, I have followed you guys for years. I have been here since 2019. I have loved watching your content, and I love that it's not system specific. You really do a lot to lift up pageant girls from all backgrounds, and I think that's amazing. And I also love seeing interviews like this one, because we get to talk about the growth and the really genuine and difficult side of pageantry sometimes. And I think that's so helpful for young women who are competing to see, because you don't often get to have those conversations.
What is something that you've struggled with in pageantry, or kind of struggles you've faced in your journey?
I think maintaining that confidence is always a challenge for anyone. So focusing on your growth, very important, but really looking at how you've changed over a period of time. I like to think, okay, so I started preparing for this pageant 4 months ago. How am I different? And I'll make a list. And I'll look at the goals I want to achieve coming up in the future, and I'll set my mind towards that as well. So I integrate pageantry with the life goals that I already have. And then it's like I'm bettering myself, but I'm also preparing to compete. So I'm like this all the time. I've been through a number of evolutions throughout my pageant journey and throughout my life, and this has really supported those goals.
I love that. I think a lot of people take or look at pageantry and just see it as this unattainable challenge. And I'm the person that says, well, the word impossible says I'm possible, so there's that. But, I think pageantry really isn't about how much money you have or how much time you have or what status you have, whether it be socioeconomic or just in your community. It's really the dedication to becoming a better you and challenging yourself to take on new challenges. I just said the word challenge twice in that sentence, but taking on new, goals that really challenge you to become a better version of you. And I really wish that's what came across when people thought of pageantry. And I think individuals like yourself are really what's making that difference.
Thank you. I think too, we don't talk enough about the changes, right? Everyone wants to show up very strong, and they don't want to talk about where they started. So it's important that we mention, I was insecure before I started competing at 16, and it has completely brought me out of my shell and made such a difference. So I would recommend that anyone do a pageant at least once. Just try it, because there are opportunities and there's growth on the other side of it that you can't even imagine today.
And they're just slightly addictive.
They are very addictive, I will say.
You will never understand the search for the perfect nude heel until you compete in a pageant.
Hours of my life. Hours of my life. A few weeks ago, it was every day for a few hours to pick my shoe for swimsuit, because I actually danced for 15 years, and I'm very particular about shoes for stage because I danced on point, and part of my pipeline into pageantry was an injury that made me stop dancing. But I'm very picky about shoes and the way that they fit and the way the buckles are. Like, I have to dig for a very long time. But it is fun. If you do like to shop, you will really enjoy pageantry, because there are a lot of things to shop for.
That is so. I don't even want to admit the number of different nude heels I have in my closet. So I totally understand that. So wait, you danced on point?
I did.
Pageantry?
I loved it. It was great. I got plantar fasciitis and tried to go back to point, My feet were so stiff. We knew it was going to be years before I was going to be able to dance at the level that I was dancing at before. I went through a production of The Nutcracker and just overworked my feet. And I didn't really want to go back because I was getting older and I knew that I didn't want to dance professionally. So I was like, I'll go to ballet, go back to the basics, and just enjoy my last 2 years so I can hit 15 and I can be a senior and I can do my thing. And I got through it that way, but I do really miss points. And I would go back given the opportunity. I'm probably healed at this point where I could resume my dance career. But yes, very sad.
I mean, you can always try,
I
but
can almost try. I have this now. This is so much more fun, honestly.
there are more outfit options, I feel like.
I agree. Totally agree.
Just thinking about, the outfits. But
Yes.
actually, talking about outfits, are you all picked out outfit-wise for nationals in 3 weeks?
I have a few finishing touches, but I'm pretty much there. Yes.
How about picking your evening gown?
I have a vision board that I use to put lots of pictures on, and I kind of plan my vision for my experience at a pageant. So I made a board for Miss Earth USA, and I started putting things together, and I integrated it with all of my personal stuff that I want to talk about in my impact statement. And that was how I went about choosing my gown. And I was also very lucky to obtain it sustainably. And I don't want to say too much, so I'm going to leave you with that, but I am thrilled to show it off at Nationals this year.
I can't wait to see it. You saying that, I think the last 3 gowns I've purchased were all secondhand, and I do that purposefully. I love it. Like, we're going to love thrifting. So I cannot wait to see the magic that is yours. Can you give us a hint of the color?
No. I'm so sorry. It's a secret.
Well, I'm sure you have plenty of pre-med that you need to go study now. Because, oh my gosh, I cannot imagine the amount of studying that you do as a pre-med student. But
finals week. We're almost done.
Okay, so it's finals week and it's your birthday. I don't like that combo for you.
I love it. I'm having a great time.
All right, that works. Well, then after finals, you get to go just like have a birthday weekend galore. Yes. So we're going to play a quick game of this or that to get you ready for not only the pageant, but finals week, because it's technically multiple choice.
Thank you.
Are you more of an onstage question or an interview girly?
Onstage question. I love public speaking. Love a mic.
That's fair, because me too. Phone call or text message?
Phone call or bonus points if you FaceTime. And extra bonus points if you FaceTime me without warning. I love that. It makes me so happy. It makes my day every time. I don't know why. I know that's a little weird, but it brings me so much joy.
I love that. Dress or jumpsuit?
Dress. For sure.
That makes sense. City girl or country girl?
City girl. I love to travel, and my favorite city is Chicago. So, gotta go with the city.
Why Chicago?
I love the architecture. It's so beautiful. And I also love food, and there's food everywhere from lots of different cuisines. So I just have a field day in Chicago.
Then what's your favorite food? Because now I need to know.
Italian food. I'm not eating it right now because it's pageant time. But I love cooking though. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Vintage or modern fashion?
Modern. Yeah.
That makes sense. Save or spend?
Can we budget?
I like that answer.
A little of both. Let's do both.
Option C, budget. Are you more of a thrifty or a DIY type?
DIY. I like making stuff.
Did you make anything for Miss Earth USA?
You'll see.
Other. Oh, good grief. Okay. Gold, silver accessories.
I like both. I'm a neutral, so I go both ways. Today we're rocking the silver.
I am so jealous. That's what I have to say about that one. Red or nude lipstick?
Nude.
Okay.
Love a nude. But the red just hits right with the right outfit.
That is true. And my final favorite question, sneakers or stilettos?
You need both, right? It's a balance. But if I had to choose, I'm going to go with stilettos every time.
That's fair. Somebody once answered the high heel sneakers that they made for a hot minute.
Oh, really?
I was like, well, that's a creative option C I hadn't thought of.
Couldn't plan for that. I had some of those. Converse made a heeled Converse shoe. I thought I was so cool in like the 7th grade. I was incorrect, but they were interesting for sure.
They were a thing. That is what that is.
Yes.
Well, Miss Haley, where can we follow you on your journey to Miss Earth USA?
Please follow me at Miss Pennsylvania Earth on Instagram or on my personal account, which is Haley Grace Poe, or on Facebook. I'm pretty good at keeping up with my Facebook too. So anywhere you can find me, I would like to see you.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It was an absolute
Thank you for
pleasure
having
to
me.
chat with you. And I cannot wait to cheer you on at Miss Earth USA in just 3 weeks.
Thank you so much. That is so sweet. And it was lovely spending my birthday with you. So thank you for having me.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
All right, everyone, stay tuned for our next interview. And again, please go follow Miss Haley Poe, Miss Pennsylvania Earth USA. Bye, y'all.